This is John Scheiben of Rest Stop. You're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
All right, we're back, and we're joined by Shawn Papazian. Want to welcome you to Without Your Head.
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. You doing all right?
You. I'm doing excellent. Doing excellent.
I'll let everybody know that you're the director of Rest Stop, Don't Look Back, which you can pick up now on DVD and Blu-ray.
Pick it up, please.
Yeah. You can get it to Netflix, you can get it at the Blockbuster, you can pick it up at Amazon, you can pick it up anywhere.
That's good, unlike the other movie we were talking about that was an exclusive.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that they're starting to do exclusive to Blockbuster movies. 'Cause I'm a Netflix man.
And if they don't have it, call me.
Right, you can just call Shawn and get it directly from him. Have you been happy with, the feedback for the movie?
We really have. We're very, very happy to have Warner Brothers really behind it, really push it and give it a lot of exposure. The responses we received, are definitely, very positive and very liking of the mythology that has been set up and that's continued. And people, we're getting a fan base, and we're very happy with that because we really want to cater to our fans and give them more and enrich them more into the world that we've kind of set up and created. So very, very happy with so far the responses and the fans' understanding of what we're trying to do, which, once again, not just setting up a sequel kind of arrangement, but a whole kind of world of these characters and how they evolve, and their arcs are ever evolving and ever changing within these various chapters, we'll call them, instead of prequels or sequels.
Mm-hmm. When we had John on a couple weeks ago, who wrote the movie and produced it, I asked him about the name of the movie is Rest Stop, Don't Look Back. It's not Rest Stop 2. Was that whose idea was it, not to call it Part 2?
That was, something that the studio really wanted to alter. They wanted this to kind of resonate in a different manner, based off kind of the way things have been going. I produced the first one and obviously directed the second one. And one thing that John set up from a writing standpoint is this ability to make it more like almost without saying it, a TV series-like scenario with the way these characters come and go within the plots. And so, by giving it this subtitling effect, you kind of take away from that idea that it's a prequel or sequel, and instead you kind of feel that it's another chapter instead.
Mm-hmm. And then, somebody who's not familiar with the first movie could pick it up and enjoy it, then find out that there's another one out there, then pick up the original.
Please do.
Exactly. Have you heard from anyone who's done that? Maybe they didn't catch the first movie and they enjoyed this one, so then they...
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got a couple interviews where literally the people that I was interviewing with had, watched the first movie and didn't realize that there was a first one, and then went back and then tied the two together and then became very enriched in the whole, mythology that we've created.
Mm-hmm. I asked John this. Do you yourself believe in ghosts?
You know what? I tend to believe in ghosts. I've felt a presence once in my life, and I'll tell you, I do believe that there are definitely beings out there, spiritual beings. But I don't want to get too spooked or spook anybody out on it, but I definitely feel that, obviously our spirit sits in a purgatory sometimes, or someone's spirit can sit in a purgatory, and I think that's the presence we feel.
Was that fun to, open that up more in this movie? Because, and it's kind of the payoff in the first movie that you find out that these people are ghosts, and hope I don't spoil it for anybody, but I'm sure they've seen it by now. So you didn't have to worry about that too much in this one.
No, I think we needed to reinforce this point, which was very subtly introduced in the first one, and there was some confusion of where is this instead of an understanding of it with the idea, is it or not? And so I think by flushing it out a little bit more, then we're still able to play with the, is this a ghost world or not, but yet give the audience an understanding that there's truly an oddity to it, a certain Twilight Zone-y feel. you know, and that's why I ended it the way I did with the shot of, you know, our character, so that you can understand, is he in the world or not, or where is he?
Right.
You know, so that was kind of a wraparound to that point that you just mentioned.
Yeah, and for anybody who picks up the DVD, and if you check out like the alternate endings, I think even though a lot of those are cool, they kind of it kind of goes against some of the rules that are set up in the movie for the ghosts. They go beyond their boundaries. Is that why, like, you didn't use some of those endings?
Yes, exactly right. Want to stay away from that cliche vibe that I think some people have attached themselves to, and do something a little bit more independent and organic to this kind of world that's been seen before.
When we had John on, and he directed the first one, and he said it was kind of a last-minute thing where he was originally going to direct the second one, and then I don't know what happened there, but he couldn't do it. How did it come about where that you got to direct it?
I'd done a lot of the second unit directing as well as producing the first one, so John realized that my vision was similar with his story, and in addition to that, very involved in the making of it. And so, you know, our visions were very similar with this idea, and I was brought in to produce, the next three, and you know, part of my conversations was directing one of the three. And so actually I was brought in to possibly direct Otis, and John and I really started vibing out, and he had a conflict and with some work that he was doing, and at the end of the day, it kind of just, you know, I begged and pleaded, and he said fine. And he let me take the chair.
Right. Did you guys have any was there a lot of disagreements over maybe something he wrote that you wanted to shoot a different way, or?
No, John is a delight. Yeah. We work together and finish our sentences. I mean, he's really a great person to work beside. He's a walking encyclopedia, and I like to reference movies, and he knows of them all. So, you know, we really, it was a tremendous process for me to deal with someone like John and to work with someone like John. I feel he made me a better filmmaker than what I was when I turned the camera on.
You see about referencing movies. You talk a lot about like the accordion lens that you use in the movie on the commentary track. Was that something you saw in another movie, or where did you discover that?
You know, I wanted. I had a background when I was in college, a cinematography background, and I really liked to play with the bending of lenses and imageries. And my cinematographer and I we've worked together on a couple other projects and really got creative in prep to try to create a perspective that was very intimate. And the accordion lens gave you that feeling that you were that perspective going in and out of consciousness. And, you know, it was a lens that my cinematographer, Chaz Shelton, introduced me to, because I was talking about a scene in a movie that I had seen, or saw, and he was saying, oh, that's the accordion lens. And I said, what's that? And so he educated me on it. We went down the Panavision and played with it, and I said, this is what we're going to use for these particular moments to really enhance that intimate feeling of the moment. And I feel that it was very successful.
Yeah. Was there anything you tried maybe that didn't work out and you decided not to use for the movie?
Absolutely, but I can't tell you.
Right. Just tell us about the
everything
stuff
worked. Exactly. Everything worked, right?
Exactly. Was there anything in particular that you put in the bus, or was that all stuff the set decorators came up with?
I'm sorry, say it again.
There's on the bus. I know John said there's a mention of Richard Matheson. I don't know. I think it's the name.
Yeah, on the bus itself.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular that you that you wanted on there?
Yeah, I wanted you to resonate or get the feeling that resonated of someone's workshop, and a workshop that was disorganized, because this is a disorganized spirit. He doesn't know, like you saw in the prequel. He's got this. eerie background of, he's bad, but he doesn't know why, and he misinterprets, I feel, the perception of how to cleanse one's spirits. And so, that kind of disjointed thinking is representative of a disorganized environment as well, or mirrors a disorganized environment. So I wanted this workshop with this disorganized feeling, and one that, had his trophies throughout, which represented the Polaroids, so that you can really feel that this is this guy's den. Mm-hmm. And when we brought you into it, we brought you on the other side a lot of the times, like in, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when, you went into the basement, you really felt intimate with, that killer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the goal of what I was trying to, bring about.
Mm-hmm. I always think both movies really have a good look. It looks realistic, everything. Were you happy with the overall look?
I was very happy. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to feel very cinematic. That's why I chose to shoot a 2:40 aspect ratio and really get that anamorphic feeling to it, so that it has a classic look at the end of the day. And I really wanted to use space, especially since we were opening up the world of the rest stop. I wanted it to be visual as well. Mm-hmm. And so, I think, giving it that look, that anamorphic look, really enhanced that point of view.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mentioned this off-air was there's a little cameo by the former Boom Boom Washington, who's in Sublime, and then he made a little cameo in this. Was that in the script, or was that just something you guys decided to add later?
He wasn't in our movie.
What?
Where'd you see him at?
There's a little cameo, I believe.
No, that's an Otis.
An Otis? It is?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right.
He crossed the wires, but that's okay. We're all one big family.
Yeah. I don't think I haven't had a good
produced Sublime, so I definitely I take it as a compliment to have it all mixed into one.
Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to make excuses for myself here, but
no,
I haven't had a
good
week. My dog of 18 years.
You're just talking to someone who knows every frame of the movie, so.
Right. Now, you guys talk a lot too about the American flags that's throughout the movie. Is there any particular reason for that?
Yeah, I wanted a metaphor of this bravado kind of personality who's very patriotic, going against this being, and his background obviously was that he was a person who came from Iraq, who was in the army, and it was almost a reference to this endless battle we're in with the Middle East at the moment, and every time we turn around, there's something new and something unexpected, and something that just gets us to realize we're in a Pandora's box. And so the metaphor was really a metaphor to what the U.S. and what we're doing in the Middle East. And, because it's a perpetual loop. There's this, patriotic American who's running through this ghost environment, and he's going nowhere, but getting deeper and deeper lost into the environment. And I feel, as a metaphor, that's kind of where I was going.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll try to save my previous question. Was there any plans to put a cameo from any of the other raw feeds?
Good save, Neil. Good save.
Yes and no. There were definitely some people who were trying to pull back, but overall, didn't want the movies to feel like they were, they're independent of each other, but yet from the same family. And I think if we would have married some of these characters, it could have been some confusion. Overall, though, there were some actors that I looked at that were from some of the other Rafi movies, but it just ended up not working for whatever reason. And, never thought about not doing it, but never thought about making it a point to do.
Right. I have to mention the Raw Feed website. Everybody check that out, rawfeed.com. And there's always there's really creative stuff up there. You can when Otis was the main film up there. I think you'd still go to the Otis website on the Raw Feed. But on that one, you could pick weapons and you could pick buckets of blood, and on the new one, you can play a Tetris game with body parts.
Nice.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, good stuff. I highly recommend it.
You gotta love it.
Yeah. Have you been? Are you happy with the website?
I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Yeah, absolutely.
I know. John said that he wrote the film. He was actually raised in like a religious family, and I assume it wasn't like in this movie. But do you yourself come from like a religious background?
I do. Very religious, very spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And so John and I, with these themes, these religious themes, really one thing I wanted to do was translate them into more of a masochist form, and this overindulging thinking of, what these statements mean biblically. And so definitely that was one thing that I wanted to really incorporate into this. And I think John and I did it. And I think, with our background to that religious world, we were able to pull from it and really play with it in a way where you can see how one can interpret, i.e. maybe a Muslim, the idea of, taking something too literal, So once again, another comparison to the unknowing Iraq-U.S. war or Middle Eastern war with the idea that, a lot of, I feel some Muslims have taken some of the language and rhetoric and maybe just skewed it a little too extreme. And I think our characters have displayed that way of being.
Definitely. Is there any particular character you would say is like your favorite?
Scotty.
Oh yeah, Scotty's good, man.
That's my favorite character right there.
Yeah. Did you think? Was it like? Did you guys want to make him kind of the good guy in this one? The good guy of the family?
We wanted to show a little consciousness within him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of all we wanted to subtly expose, and hoping that in the next chapter, we see more of the family and understand more of the family background, which then you can understand a little bit more of their motivations and where they were at in our movies.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely Scotty, I feel, is more of a diverse being within that family than the others, and definitely a fun character to play with. A good actor at that.
Yeah, definitely. Said it's out on both DVD and Blu-ray. Do you think eventually Blu-ray will make DVD obsolete?
I think so. I think just like the DVD has made the VHS obsolete. I think definitely everyone's going to want to upgrade. But I think at the very end of the day, I'm not getting rid of my DVDs that I have that aren't Blu-ray.
Right.
But I think the Blu-ray is a tremendous visual opportunity to get yourself involved into, and it's fantastic that we got our movie on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So as long as these Blu-ray players can play also the old DVDs, I have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm. I know John's the big Blu-ray fan here.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry?
I'll definitely have to pick up a copy on Blu-ray.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, it's unbelievable, the look of a Blu-ray versus just a standard DVD.
And I actually still have 2 VHS players in my house.
I have one. I still got VHS films, man. I'm a film buff, so, I definitely have to have whatever I need to display those mediums still,
Exactly.
I still have a record player, believe it or not.
Oh, man.
So I'm old school with that.
Yeah, because there's still...
no 8-track.
No.
Because I don't have 8-tracks.
Right. There's still some films that never came out on the DVD.
Exactly.
What was that, sorry?
I said if I can have a projecting room, I'd have one as well,
Exactly. What would you say is like your favorite shot in the movie?
Oh, wow. Good question, man. There were a lot, but what is one that stands out? I think, boy, that's a good question. You stumped me on that one. I really liked what I did with the different lenses, and I think maybe that's really where some of my favorite shots. There was a shot when they first came into the gas station, the kids, and it was a pullback dolly shot and craned up, and I think that was probably my favorite one. We editorialized it a bit, so you didn't see the favorite part of why I liked it, but at the end of the day, that was my favorite shot.
Mm-hmm. On the commentary, you guys talk about the couple became like a real life couple.
Mm-hmm.
Was that like noticeable on the set while you filmed the movie?
Absolutely. I think that chemistry needs to really play out if you can make it be exposed, and I did, and definitely, when we cast these two, we really wanted real people, John and I, and we didn't find actors to play these roles. We found the people who are these roles, and so I think we did a great job, obviously, because they ended up becoming a couple for, I don't know if they still are, but becoming a couple, and because we felt the personalities were something when John wrote them and we tooled with them that would really vibe and jive together in their own different ways. And so, we got lucky, and it really, I feel, you feel a tissue of the two together through the movie, and I was very happy with that.
Yeah. Do you think the Winnebago family itself could carry like its own film?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd watch that.
Tune in. There might be something to say of that statement in the future.
Oh, excellent news.
That's definitely something in our thought process.
Yeah. Astro Creep here in our chat room, he wants to know what your favorite horror movie is.
Ooh, that's a great question. Psycho.
Oh, excellent.
And also, I hate to say it, but I'm a huge fan of Hitchcock, and any movie that he did was, so Hitchcock is my favorite.
Mm-hmm. What ones would you say were like most influential to you?
For this particular movie?
Yeah.
Devil's Rejects.
That's a good movie, too. I know some people give Rob Zombie like a hard time online, but I'm a big Rob Zombie fan.
Let me tell you something. To me, that was there was a lot of humor fused into the Devil's Rejects in a dark way, and that's kind of what I modeled this picture after. And I liked the look of it. I liked the feel of it. It felt real. It was gritty. Musically, is where I wanted to go musically. Didn't have the budget, obviously, that he did, and the contacts, but definitely I modeled myself after Rob Zombie / Twilight Zone / Hitchcock.
Right. When we had Adam Green on, he talked about he's the director of Hatchet, that it's kind of hard to get like a original idea made because everyone wants you to make like remakes. Do you find that's true? Is it hard to get out something that's original?
I do, because but at the same line, Rest Stop was an original thing that John created, and look where we're at now. I think I think the audience is getting bored. The true fans of this genre are getting bored with the same mundane, cut and paste creativity. And I think the more the creative community in this genre, reach inside and pull something out original, I think the fans are really going to embrace it. And fusing of some of the genres, too, which, I think is something that is, like anything in the creative world, something that helps, bring it to the next level. Having the combination of horror and comedy, it's all the same thing. It's set up and timing.
Mm-hmm.
And like you set up a joke, and it's the timing of the joke. Same thing with a horror moment, a scare moment. So I think, playing with those different aspects and really taking the idea to another level through playing with those different, genre, I think, you just make an original environment for the audience to play in. And I think, it's all about the audience and giving them the experience and the entertainment. And, not just, utilizing their pocketbooks, which is what I'm not a fan of.
Right. Here in the chat room, Hoobie, he wants to know if there's any classic horror movies that you would like to see remade, that hasn't been remade.
I would love to see a 3D version of The Birds.
Okay.
Wow.
And it's been a long time.
Yeah, if I could do something like that. Once again, Hitchcock. Love Hitchcock.
Yeah.
I think with the technology and just tooling with the genre again in a visual mindset, you know, I think simple is really more. Mm-hmm. And I really like, I'm a big Hitchcock fan and student, and, you know, I'd love to do The Birds.
What would you say to you is like the scariest aspect or scariest scene of Rest Up, Don't Look Back?
Believe it or not, when Jared was in the porta potty and a hand reaches out and grabs him after he drops the ribbon.
Yeah, that is a scary scene.
That was a little moment there that I think really, you know, after screenings, really, you know, I got the jump that I was looking for.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that directing that character?
I did. I had a lot of fun with him. And I really wanted him to be tortured and not mutilated.
Right.
Two different things. And the torturing became comical, and that's what I was looking for, and John and I were looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's covered in many different bodily fluids, not just blood.
He is. He was tortured, and you know, poor Richard was mutilated, you know?
Yeah.
Or Tom, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about just a big truck that's scary? Because, you know, there's been a few movies with big truck, and it's always scary.
Well, one movie that really was a centerpiece of all of this for John, and then once he educated me on it, I became a big fan of it as well, which was Spielberg's movie that he did, which
Duel.
was... I'm sorry?
Duel?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, you know, there was a presence of that vehicle that really gave you a fear. And that's what we were trying to go for.
Mm-hmm. What I brought up to John was I like that the truck itself, it's not like over the top and obvious. It's not like black with red flames.
And we want to keep it real.
Yeah, it looks like a regular truck that you'd see.
Keep it real, then it's more recognizable. If it's more recognizable, then the audience can be that much more assimilated to it, which then, you know, gets you to then pull them in and make them really calm and comfortable, and then wham, throw an axe at their face, so to speak, you know, with a moment or two. And I think that's the ebb and the flow of making these kind of pictures, is to give that audience that get them into the zone, and then you can manipulate them.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of ride I think a fan wants to go through, at least me personally speaking.
This is a true story today when Troy and I were coming back from dinner over the bridge here. There's a giant pickup that went flying by us like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that is true.
And
the yellow one?
That kind of freaked me out a little.
It was a yellow.
KZL 303, right?
Oh, I did not check the license plate. I just had the LASIK surgery, so I could be able.
I thought you learned something from our movie. I always recognize the license plate.
They did miss the mark once, though, Neil, in a big truck, and that was Maximum Overdrive. Not a big Maximum Overdrive fan.
Oh.
Even with the Green Goblin truck, I still can't get into that.
That's a good image of the Green Goblin truck.
Yeah, his eyes go red.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, Rest Stop 2, Don't Look Back. It's on DVD and Blu-ray. Check out rawfeed.com. Is there anything else you'd want to tell everybody out there?
I just want to thank you guys for letting me be on your show, and I want to thank the fans for being fans and supporting our film, and definitely love to keep doing it, and definitely appreciate everyone's time.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
All right, guys, have a great night, and see Rest Stop, Don't Look Back.
You almost called it Rest Stop, too.
I almost did. I caught myself.
Can we keep you for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Hi, this is Butch Patrick, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.